Women are paid less than their male counterparts, even in retirement. Let's discuss. Hey guys, I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mpho. I usually chat all things business, careers, and sometimes a little bit about life. Today, we are chatting about the results of Alexander Forbes 2021 Members Watch survey. It was released on the 12th of October, and one of the key themes that they discuss is that even in retirement, what's still persisting is that the women would have saved less than their male counterparts. So that's what I want to chat about. The impact of this on women's financial means in retirement, why this is the case, and lastly, what we can do as women to change that. Now, before we get started, I have a question for you. At what age would you like to retire? Please let me know in the comment section. You just can give me the number. You don't have to justify it. Or if you feel like it, give me reasons too. But at what age would you like to retire? I'll tell you my answer towards the end of the video. So this episode was inspired by an article written by Moneyweb on the same matter, and that sparked interest in me to actually go and check out the actual survey results and the presentation of the results. But according to the article and according to Alexander Forbes, women are paid about 10% less than men at retirement. Now, there's obvious reasons we can all think about on why this is the case, and maybe also more nuanced reasons if you've watched the explained video on Netflix on the subject, but that's what we'll be discussing. The format of this video will be me speaking to the reason and also giving my opinion on some of the reasons that are stipulated or stated as reasons for why women are paid less. And then what I also do feel like I need to mention is that this video will touch on savings, on retirement, on money, but I am not a financial advisor at all. Whatever I say here shouldn't be taken to constitute financial advice. And if you need financial advice, please speak to someone who's registered with the FSCA as such, or if you're in corporate, call ICAs. I'll also tell you more about that. As mentioned, this was sparked by an article I saw on Moneyweb. I actually have the Moneyweb app on my phone. It has opinion pieces, news articles. It also has podcasts in the app. So if you would like to support them, do download the app. It is free. There is an option to pay. I think it's about 20 Rand a month. I'm using the free version, but if you would like to get it, please do. I think it's right for me to mention that seeing this was sparked by them. All right, now we're getting into it. The first and obvious one is gender pay disparity. Now, we all know of this, we've heard of this. Many of us probably have watched the Netflix explained video on the gender pay inequality or inequity. I'll have that linked in the description box because it really did go into why some of the possibilities as to why, we have gender pay differences between men and women. The reasons range from choices that we make. So if you want to be more active at home, then you probably wouldn't be able to give in as much as your male counterparts at work who don't have the extra job of being a homemaker or primary caregiver at home. And then secondly, we all know that biases still exist. I do think it's a little better with our generation, but there is some element of bias, especially given that in most cases, the people that will be in senior position and in charge of making these decisions would be men. The one other reason I've seen coming up that to me doesn't make sense at all is that women negotiate less. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that says more about the system or people in charge of making decisions than it does about the woman. If you give me a number, I trust that number is in good faith, and I wouldn't think, I need to negotiate it, and I think it wouldn't be a nice world or nice working spaces if we felt like whatever number that is shown to us is actually potentially us being undercut, because then that's not a good environment to be in. It's not healthy. And if anything, it says more about the system and our employees and organizations than it does about women. But it makes sense that if you get paid less as you work, you will have less to contribute towards retirement, and that kitty gets small. The second reason that I want to touch on that's also mentioned in the result or article is career breaks. Now, as I just mentioned, women are more likely to take breaks to care for kids or look after their family than maybe men would be. But in all honesty, I actually, in the South African context, I do think this is upper middle class problem. Not even an upper middle class problem. Like, this is a rich people problem. I haven't seen for working people and for middle class and even upper middle class. I do believe that a lot of us do feel like we need to stay in work so that we can maintain the debt that we have, first of all, the houses, the cars, all of that. So I haven't been exposed to people who are at my level or even just above taking career breaks. Yes, it does happen, but I don't think it explains significantly or it plays a big role in why women at the end of the day get paid less. This is a very few people that will be able to take or afford to take a career break. So it shouldn't explain 10%. I don't know, what do you think? And then they also mentioned that women contribute less, and I think I've just spoken to that. They contribute less because they earn less. They contribute less because, according to their article and the report itself, they take career breaks. But what I also want to mention, there's potentially a few information that's falling through the data cracks. So investment in real estate, investment outside of traditional retirement products, and maybe even investment in businesses, side hustles that women start that can actually sustain them in retirement. And the last point is that women live longer than men. So the life expectancy of a man is 62 years in South Africa and that of a woman is 65. And this is before COVID, which may have reduced or has definitely reduced that life expectancy a little bit. So even if we lived the same, if we saved the same rand amount as a man and a woman, if mine is supposed to last me longer, then that rand, that whatever I've saved, is just not as valuable over my lifespan versus that of a man. But now we're starting with a situation where I've saved less as a woman, but I must make that less stretch even further. So I think we can all see why that would be a problem. So what does this mean? So ideally, you need to replace about 75% of your income when you retire. So if you earned 10,000 Rand before retirement, you need to earn 7,500 in retirement to actually sort of maintain the same standard of living. So this means you need to contribute 17% of your income towards a retirement fund on a monthly basis. Now, what Alexander Forbes have found is that the actual replacement ratio is much lower at 31.47%. And that's the average, right? For men, it's higher at about 35%. And for women, it is 26%. So if you're a woman and you were earning 10,000 Rand before you retired, you probably, on average, will be earning 2,600 Rand on retirement. That is scary. But there are things that we can do, right, to improve our chances of retiring better and maintaining sort of the same standard of living and into retirement as well. And also, just to note, this isn't financial advice, but we're just having a chat based on an article I saw and the results of Alexander Forbes Members Watch survey for 2021. The first thing is start early with that first job out of varsity. With whatever job you have now, starting now is actually much better than saying, okay, you'll start saving for retirement in 5 years' time. The second thing is don't withdraw whenever you resign from your jobs. So if you resign or whatever happens, then you are allowed to, for the most part, take out from your provident fund or your retirement fund. I know the rules are changing. They're looking at having a 2-bucket system where there's one bucket that you are able to withdraw from and another one that you won't be able to withdraw until you retire. I think for provident funds, what they've also done is savings before 1 March 2021 can be taken out with whatever the fruit of that is, but then after that you may not be able to take out everything. But don't withdraw as a general rule if you can help it. And I know sometimes we resign from our jobs. If you're taking a career break, then you do need those funds. But if you can afford to, don't withdraw, because that money continues to work for you until you get to retirement age. The third point that I want to mention is to get financial advice. And I know you would be thinking, oh, but that's expensive. I don't have money for a financial advisor. It's actually not expensive. Your bank would probably have those services already for you if you're using one of those professional banking accounts. If you're employed in corporate, Have you heard of ICAS or whatever employee wellness program that your employer has? And I called ICAS for the first time now in October. They have counselors who can just listen to you and just chat to you about whatever's going on in your mind, whatever you need help with. They have that for free, 24/7 for you and for your family, for your sisters, for your mother, for your husband. They have that available and it's free, right? Because you work for a certain company. So if you're in corporate, consider getting ICAS. They do the same. They also have financial counselors. You just need to speak to someone to help make sense of your finances. Do that as you start working to figure out how much you need to contribute. Do that as part of your budgeting, whatever exercise that you do. And then I think if you're leaving a job or you're thinking of leaving a job, do that. Chat to them about your retirement goals, how much you've saved, how much you would have wanted to save. Is it a good idea to withdraw or not? Speak to ICAS or whoever your employee wellness program is. I also want to mention as point 4 to increase your salary. Ideally, we would just be getting paid more. But I don't know about you. If you feel like you can knock and be like, hey, I need a 20% increase, do so. But for the most part, you probably will need to look at a side hustle. Making more money allows you to be able to save even more, or even to just have other means of sustaining yourself in retirement. So if you can make more money, do that. The last point that then goes to the question I asked in the beginning is to stay employed for longer. The longer you stay employed, the more you have to save. Remember that question I asked you of when you want to retire? I don't know if there's anyone who said 35, but the difference between retiring at 55 versus at 65 is a double to your replacement ratio. So if you were going to get that 2,600 that we spoke about earlier, had you retired at 55, retiring at 65 means then you get to take home 5,200. So those extra 10 years can double the amount of money that you're able to take out of retirement. And then an answer to the same question that I asked, when do I think I will retire? I've made peace with that. It's probably going to be never. Working in some shape or form, even beyond retirement. And for me, I think it's just because I do enjoy being productive. This sounds terrible for the most part, or even for most people, but I do enjoy work if it's not stressing me out. So I'll probably be one of those who don't retire. Maybe but I'll definitely be working less hours, and it'll be work that's sort of meaningful and has an impact on all of those lovely things that we want to do when we grow older. But yeah, my answer is this girl is not retiring. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, which I hope you do, because I did enjoy putting this together. And just a reminder again, this isn't financial advice, but I do hope it was useful, and I hope it leads you to having the right conversations with the right people, which could be ICAS or your employee wellness program, or if you can afford it, just a financial advisor of your own. And also, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing that. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I know it sounds like it's not much, but I want to get to 100. Thank you guys. Until next time, keep well and bye.